Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy here for Whimsy Stamps, and I am starting to celebrate halfway to Halloween. So April kicks off halfway to Halloween. The exact day is kind of a toss-up between the last day of April and the first day of May, but with that being said, to me, all of October is Halloween, so all of April is halfway there. So with all that being said, that explanation in place, I am creating a little art journal collage spread, and yeah, it's in celebration of halfway to Halloween. So I'm using a variety of different Whimsy Stamps products, and I am creating this kind of grungy, mismatched, collagey background. And I will have all of the products that I'm using listed downstairs in the description box. Now keep in mind that some of these may be on the last chance list. So if you are interested in any of them, you'll want to use those links and hop over to the store and just make sure that you don't miss out on any of these, especially if they look like they might be some of your favorites. So I've used the grungy background, I've used the vintage script, I've used, gosh, I can't even remember the name of all of them, to be honest. But I will, like I said, I'll have them all listed downstairs. I don't even want to try to start naming them and then give you the wrong names, but they are downstairs in the description box. So I stamped them all out. As you saw, it was very random, and then I used some clear embossing powder just to create the texture, and then it will be a resist. You can see that I'm using some of these mica stains and just, again, adding to that mottled kind of random collagey look. So I did the spray and I dried it, and now I'm creating the splatter with the same colors of spray. And then I'm coming in with this beautiful stencil, which is one of my absolute favorites. It's the Harlequin stencil. And if you know me, I love a Harlequin, and the grungier, the wonkier, the better. And so this one is like perfection. And I'm using a little bit of the Distress texture paste in the black opaque. And here is where I'm just taking my little microfiber cloth and I'm wiping all of that excess ink off of those heat embossed areas where I did the stamping and the heat embossing in clear. And that created that white resist so that you're getting the images showing through with the white of the actual paper in the art journal. So just wiping those places off just to create that beautiful contrast. So I have the contrast of the white against the colors and then the black against the colors, so lots of contrast going on. Then I have this fun little ghosty. I really like him. He's going to go in that corner. And then I'm also just die cutting a bunch of these fun little jack-o'-lanterns. They are from the Pumpkin and Mini Jacks die set. Several of these are new from last Halloween, and they're still just fresh to me and just jonesing to be used. This little skull and crossbones is probably my favorite skull and crossbones in my entire stash. I think it's super cute. I have die cut it out in a bit of a cream color versus white, and just adding some scraps of black paper to the back just so that the facial features show through excuse me, show through in black. And now here I have one of these vintage frames that was from my stash. It's die cut out in a gold mirrored cardstock, and then I had a piece of black paper that I adhered to the frame itself to be the matting of the frame, and I used washi tape, and then I popped it up on some double-sided foam tape. And now all these fun little jacks that I have cut out, I'm adding either black or yellow to the backs of each of the ones that I use anyway. I end up not using all of them that I die cut, but you can see them laying there on the desk. I have the cardstock on the back so that the facial features show through as either shadow or lit up with a candle. And then I've also die cut out several of these trees from the Trees Assortments die set, which I've said many times is definitely a staple in my stash. I use it all the time for many different things, and I love them. I love those tree dies. And so now I'm just kind of putting my collage together, auditioning different pieces in different places, different angles, that kind of thing, and just laying all of my different die cut pieces out where it pleases my eye. Again, this is a collage. It's not a scene per se. So I've got that little ghosty over on the left, and then I've got the frame on the right. Again, that's the fancy, I believe it's called Fancy Cameo frames. It's one of 3 in that set, and that's with the skull and crossbones. And then I'm adding all of the trees where I want them, and then I'm hanging these mini jacks out of the trees. Some of them obviously are being kind of positioned, if you will, on the bottom of the page, but I really like the idea of having them hanging out of the trees, like little lanterns hanging in trees, which I don't know how much y'all might or might not know about Halloween, but my understanding is that initially they were, instead of pumpkins, the initial people who started this tradition used turnips, and they would carve faces into the turnips, and then they would hang them in the trees or put them in their windowsills as lanterns. So that's kind of why I thought that was really fun to hang them out of the trees, especially the small ones. And those long stems are just perfect for that idea. So I have strategically placed several of the pumpkins along the bottom of the ghosty there because he's vellum, and of course I used wet glue to adhere him to the page, so I wanted to strategically cover up that wet glue stain, if you will. And of course it added to the scene. And then I have some of my jacks hanging behind the branches just for depth and dimension. And here it is. I think it's super cute. Again, it's a collage, right? It's not necessarily a scene per se. Doesn't have to make sense. It just made sense to my eye, and it was fun putting it together. And this is my personal kickoff to Halfway to Halloween. And of course, we're already 9 days into April, so we're 9 days into the halfway mark. So guys, let me know what you think. I know not many people are familiar with Halfway to Halloween, but welcome. I'm introducing you now if you're not already familiar, and I hope that you will join us throughout the month because we are going to be having a hop as the month goes on, and I'll be doing lots of different things. So use those links to shop. Join us on all of our socials, and until next time, guys, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy, wishing you a happy halfway to Halloween. And until next time, mwah, I'm out.